All right, in this tutorial we're going to kind of put together all of the exponential properties that we have gone over in this previous unit and kind of use that to practice simplifying expressions, evaluating them possibly whenever you're plugging into a variable, and still following that same rule that we have to express our answers with positive exponents. So, a couple of different ways we can solve this first one is we have 10 to the negative second power up top, 3 to the negative first power on bottom. We can take care of the negative exponents first by moving the 10 to the squared on bottom and 3 to the negative 1 on top. Remember, they just changed position. So if you're starting in the numerator with a negative exponent, you move the entire thing on the bottom, base stays the same, exponent becomes positive, and it changes position. Same thing with the 3 to the negative 1 power. We're going to move this to the new position, keeping the same base. And you could write to the positive 1, but we also know that 3 to the 1 power is just 3. And then we have 3 to the 1 power we know is 3, like I just said. 10 squared is 100. Now, since we are given this in fraction form, we need to keep our simplified expression in that same fraction form. We're not going to take 3 divided by 100 and write that as a decimal, because you also may have variables for this. Now, you could not have used the division property because your bases are different. 10 and 3 are not the same base. You cannot divide those things. But if they were both 10s, then you would be able to use the division property instead of the negatives first. Or if they were both 3s, doesn't matter. On to the next one. Again, we're going to take care of our negative expressions by moving those to the denominator, and that positive 8 to the positive 2 power stays exactly where it is. So that's going to be my new numerator. And on bottom, we're going to have 2 to the third power times 11 squared. Now we know that 8 squared is 64, 8 times 8. 2 to the third power, or 2 times itself 3 times, is 8. And 11 squared is 121. Now the only thing left to simplify that is to take 8 times 121, and that is going to give us 968. Now this fraction does need to be reduced. If you can recognize that before you even multiply those two things together, that 64 and 8 have a common factor of 8, so you can divide both the top and the bottom by 8. And if you wanted to reduce these, you were able to just take 8 into there one time and 8 into there 8 times, and you would be left with 8 over 121. And that is the completely simplified form of that fraction, because the only factors of 121 are 11. The only factors of 8 are 2 and 4 that are going to help you reduce that. So that's completely simplified. And again, if you have exponents still in your answer, please make sure that they're positive. That should be the first thing that you take care of, are your negative exponents.